and welcome. Thank you for joining us today for our WBECS 2020 live coaching demonstration. Please let me know that you can hear me by typing into the Q&A box where in the world you're dialing in from today. And also let us know the #1 reason that you are joining us for Laurie Shook's coaching demonstration. And I'll just have a little look and see who we have with us. We have Anna from Romania, Ken from Sussex. Oh my gosh, it's going so fast. Caroline in London, Pete in Dublin, George in Ecuador. So many people from all over the world. Arun in India, Vancouver, Luxembourg, Ireland. Wow, fantastic. So many people from all over the world. Welcome everyone. It's so lovely to have you all with us. And I'll be bringing on Laurie Shook and her client Silas Carson in just a moment. And just to let everyone know, we're going to be using the Q&A box for all of your questions and comments throughout the session today. So my name is Beth Schofield and I'm Head of Speaker Selection and Coordination at the WBECS Group, and I'm going to be your host for today's session. And we also have Cecil and Elsie joining us to curate your questions and comments. So live coaching demonstrations are extremely popular amongst our coach community. And after this one today, we only have one more demonstration in the pre-summit, but we are featuring many more of them in our upcoming full summit. So if you'd like to continue experiencing coaching demonstrations, then we'd love to invite you to register for our full summit, which offers an immersive learning experience and access to over 200 CCEUs. And you can view all of the details at the link that we're just putting into the chat box for you now. So let's get started. I'm honoured to introduce Laurie Shook and her client, Silas Carson. Laurie Shook is a pioneer in the coaching world. She has been designated as a Master Certified Coach in 2001 and has been coaching leaders and training coaches for over 20 years. Laurie was a driving force for the expansion of coaching around the world and has significantly contributed to the creation of quality programs and training excellence for numerous coach training schools, including CTI and CRR Global. Laurie combines a pragmatic approach to personal development with deep knowledge of coaching skills and neuroscience. And Laurie's client today is Silas Carson. Silas has been a professional actor for 32 years, working in international movies, television, theatre and radio, as well as being a voiceover artist for numerous video games. He also has a small business as a life coach with a special interest in end-of-life coaching, and his abiding hobby is carpentry and green wood working. And with that, I'm going to hand over to Laurie. Thank you, Laurie. You just want to
get myself unmuted here. Yeah. Thank you, Beth.
No problem. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm just going to share a few slides with everybody. But first, let me say hello. Thank you, everyone, for being here. I'm excited to be back. I had a good time on the session on Monday and heard from lots of you and just really inspired by what you guys are doing. And this 3 slides that I'm going to share really quickly so we have more time for the demo. Just a short overview, a review of what we did on Monday. And for those of you who weren't at my session or haven't seen a recording of it, this should just give you enough to follow along with what I'll be doing with Silas in just a moment. So the title of this talk is Rewire Your Brain to Get Unstuck. It's about working with clients who are in that place, sort of a suspended animation place. They're moving towards something but aren't quite getting there. That's because we have underlying fears that get in the way, like unconscious red signals, red stoplight kind of signals that are showing up in our mind. We don't know it, we just get stuck. And there's a number of places that we're going to be looking for. Where are these red signals and how do we free ourselves up so that we can shift them from a red signal to a green signal, from a stop signal to a go signal. This framework of be safe and certain with the 6 different elements: belonging, status, autonomy, fairness, expectations, and certainty. These are doorways into many of those fears and also unconscious conversations that we have. conversations that we have with ourselves, even though we don't hear them. And so we'll be digging into each one of those. As you open those up, it's amazing the kind of things that you can find out. Wow, I didn't even know I've been telling myself that, my clients have said. And I've heard from some of you as well. You've worked with your clients and have discovered, or your clients have discovered, some underlying conversations that are keeping them stuck. So we'll be using this framework, red light, green light, using the Be Safe and Certain model. And after that, oh, sorry, I'm heading the wrong direction. After that, we will be looking at what is the internal conversation going on in one of those areas. How do we celebrate that? Because in order to let it go, we need to celebrate it and not make it wrong. And then we'll find some new language to replace it so that that light can be shifted from a red light to a green light. It's like our conversations are animating those lights, the red and green. And so we investigate and reframe. That's it on the slide. Silas, I'd love you to come in so we can get started with our work together. So, Silas, hi.
Hi, hello.
Thank you again for being with me on this fabulous thing we get to do together.
Absolutely, my pleasure.
So what's the, let's start, just tell us, what's the topic? What are we working on?
It's my own voiceover practice. So I do voiceover work through my audio agent. But there is a whole world, a sort of underworld of voiceover work out there that is available to me that requires me to have a home studio and requires me to understand the technology, software of how to record and edit. But it also requires me to promote myself on numerous websites and look for work myself. So that's the subject, I think, is my own voiceover business.
Okay.
As opposed to the, the larger business that I'm already a part of.
Yeah, okay. Your voiceover business.
Yeah.
That's where we're going. And we talked briefly about this, and there's something about that that's having you feel a bit stuck, like you're not moving forward the way you want to be moving forward. Is that?
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if I can distill it, really I have a huge fear of technology, very little language in the use of technology. And I have a lot of blockages around learning technology, but also I have a lot of blockages, and this applies to me as a coach as well, a lot of blockages around self-promotion and marketing myself.
Okay, so it feels like there's 2 or 3 different topics we could focus on: use of technology, voiceover business in general, promoting myself.
Yeah.
Which one of those would you like to, like, where are you really feeling that you get mixed signals? And in that, I mentioned the word suspended animation. Where might that be happening?
I think probably the largest one is technology.
Okay.
Yeah, fear of technology.
Great. So I'd like to have a name for that that's not fear of technology. So that is not always going to be fear of technology. Is it use of technology, or what's the thing you're moving towards?
Yeah, use of technology, or the learning of technology. Yeah, use of technology. Yeah.
Use of technology. Okay.
Yeah.
So let's have that as a topic. It's good to have a neutral thing that you're moving toward. I mean, it's a thing that you want to move towards, right? But it needs to be neutrally framed rather than I want to move towards the fear of technology.
Yes. Yeah, I get you. Yeah, totally.
Yeah. So use of technology. And are you okay that I use this tool with you?
Yes, please do.
Described it briefly to you. Okay, great. So I've got, what we'll be doing is I have this Be Safe and Certain elements. You can see the 6 of them. I'm showing them for you and everybody else. We'll be going through these one by one and assigning them a red light or a green light. And what I mean by that red light or a green light is each of these may be contributing to the thing that is having you be stuck.
Yeah.
Yeah. So before we jump into that, I want you to just check it out in your own body. See what happens with these red lights and green lights, our fears and our aspirations, is that our emotional brain will generate different kinds of chemical signals. Like some of them are going, yeah, go for it. And others are going, no, don't you dare. Yeah. And so, and they create different feelings in the body. And I just want you to check in with your own body and see if you can sense any of that going on.
Yeah.
Can you tell me what you feel in your body?
Well, what I notice I'm doing at the moment is pressing my thumb into my palm very hard. So I've got a lot of itching.
Okay.
In my left palm, there's a kind of, it feels like there's a lot of energy in this left hand.
Okay.
And I can feel some tension in my shoulders and quite a lot of fluttering, tension around my heart.
Okay, great. That's great awareness you have. I might be checking back from time to time because this stuff that's going on in your body, they're just signals and they're information. Yeah. And as we go through those different be safe and certain elements, as we focus on one, you might feel them expand or release or something like that. It's just part of the information.
Yeah, great. So stay aware of that. Yeah.
Yeah. And just if I ask, great. If I don't ask and you notice something, feel free to share.
Sure.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So we're moving towards use of technology in your business. Yeah.
Yeah.
And what I want to do is look at these different areas, and we'll be assigning the red and the green. So if you're ready, let's just jump in.
Let's do it. Yeah.
Yeah. So belonging is the first one. When you focus on your use of technology and how you're going to move towards there, and again, feeling these different mixed signals in you, one of them might be related to belonging. Now, belonging means the desire to be a part of something. So for example, a red light might come if you feel like your use of technology breaks relationship, or your use of technology if it feels like, oh yeah, if I did technology more, I'd belong, and that would be like a green light. Yeah. What do you feel?
Well, a couple of things. It's really interesting. As soon as you said that, my right hand now grabbed hold of my left arm.
Death grip, it looks like.
Thing there. So it's quite a strong signal. I would say that's definitely a red. What I feel is that I don't belong. I don't belong to, this vast swathe of people who are savvy with technology.
Okay.
But also, it does. There is something around technology getting in the way of human relationships and relationships. Something that I feel quite strongly about.
Okay.
People having devices on them all of the time and breaking, the contact that's there. So.
Okay. Sorry, were you going to?
No. I think that's quite a strong kind of feeling that I don't belong.
I don't belong. Okay. So right now we're just like sort of naming the doorways, and if you choose to go into belonging, we'll dig into that. I don't belong. But here's what I'm doing. I'm just creating a red dot by belonging. You said that was red. Yeah. And we'll move on to status. Mm-hmm. So status is about knowing your position. I am an actor, you might say, or I'm a coach, or I'm this, or I'm that, or I'm not a technology guy. I don't want to put words in your mouth at all. Yeah. But as you move towards technology, you might notice, as you move towards using technology, you might notice some feelings around that are status related, position, role. Yeah,
I the only thing I can say about it is that I don't feel like I have status with technology. I feel quite removed from it. So I don't feel I have status in that world. I do feel that I have status in other worlds, but the world of technology, I don't feel that I have status.
Okay, so when it's using technology, it's more of a red light?
Yeah, I would say so.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And how's your body doing? You had such a big reaction to belonging.
Not such a strong reaction. I think I'm okay saying that, that I don't have status there. I think I'm at one with that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So moving on through our little mini assessment here. The third item is autonomy.
Yeah.
And that is freedom to do things your way. You get to have it your way, all that kind of stuff. So as you move towards technology, how does autonomy play into that?
Interestingly enough, there's a huge amount of relaxation. I felt that, the fluttering around my heart really just lifted.
Nice.
I think there's a desire in there. One of the things that I know about technology is that, it can give me freedom. It can give me autonomy. It can give me control. And what I'm looking for setting up a voiceover business is more autonomy. And I get excited about that.
Okay.
I get excited about not having to wait for my agent to call me, but being able to create work and look for work myself. So technology there is something that can really help me.
So I'm hearing that's a green light.
Yeah.
There's some dopamine positivity. Yeah.
Yeah.
So far we've got 2 reds and a green.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good. Okay. Great. The next one is fairness. And fairness can show up in lots of different ways. Like you might think, oh, it's not fair that the world is changing. There's no more theaters. Or you might think, no, this is the right thing for me to doing. It feels really fair for me to be moving forward in this way. Yeah. I don't know. What's fairness like for you? What happens for you in your body?
I think fairness is also a green light. I don't see this situation as unfair. I think actually it's a desire. I want to be creating more fairness for myself. It's actually now that what lights up is that it's moving away from the easy criticism that actors have, and voiceovers have about not getting as much work as the person next to me. It's not fair that person works more than I do. This is about creating fairness. This is about giving myself opportunities. So.
Oh, fantastic. Okay.
Yeah, I think that, and the use of technology is something that puts me on a level playing field. If I'm savvy with technology, I'm on a much more level playing field. So,
nice.
Green light. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Great.
Get excited by that idea.
You get excited about that idea?
Get excited by that idea. Yeah.
Yeah. Good. So far, we've got 2 reds and 2 green.
Yeah.
Mixed signals. This is usually what happens. Yeah. So we've got 2 more. They are expectations and certainty. And expectations are it's about, wow, the dream. Are you really inspired by this? Are you expecting great things to happen, or is there dread of some sort?
I do get excited by it, actually. I have a real desire to push through my blockages in creating this business for myself, because I love books and I love reading, and I would really love to be able to do audio books. And I have a dream that, I could escape to the countryside somewhere, like, go and live on a mountaintop in Italy and live out my days just doing, audio books from a little studio that I have in my farmhouse. So there is a great expectation. There's a dream. There's a place I want to go to. And again, I get excited by that. It's the journey of getting there, and the journey right here today that frightens me. But the expectation or the dream is something that, creates a lot of excitement in me. And immediately I feel my body relaxing even more as I say that.
Excellent. Yeah. And it's great to focus on those things too, to keep you moving through those other fear spots. But yeah. One last one on our list of be safe and certain items is certainty. So certainty is that very sort of pragmatic, will this create more income, or will this, are you clear about what's going to happen? Does it feel stable and creating more certainty for you, or does it rock your boat and feel like it's going to create more unknown?
It doesn't generate certainty, actually. I think it's a very uncertain thing. And what I know about my profession and about the, specifically the voiceover profession, is that it's a very, very flooded industry. So it is not certain at all that if I, become extremely savvy in technology and I'm really good at promoting myself, it's not certain at all that I would get work, or the amount of work that I would want. That, again, is very dependent upon other people.
Sure.
Whether or not they like my voice, whether or not they like my work. So it's not a certainty.
Yeah.
It's not like getting all of the materials to go and build your own house, and then you build your house and you've got it.
Right.
I put all the materials together, but somebody still has to give me a plot I can build my house on.
Right.
That makes sense. No.
Yeah. So that's a red light uncertainty.
Yeah, I would say that's a red light. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So here's what we've got.
Oh, that's kind of interesting. That's like down the middle, isn't it? 3 and 3.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
What's it like to just see that?
Actually, that's quite heartening. Just there's a balance there, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's more green than I expected. Yeah.
Yeah, there were several places where your body relaxed and you were inspired, and yes, you've got some green lights you can tap into.
Yeah, that was quite surprising, actually.
Yeah. Okay. I'm going to leave this up here because I'd like you to pick one. We just have time to dig into one.
Yeah.
Which one would you like to dig into?
Belonging. That was the one that had a very strong reaction. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So what we're doing is, what I'd like is for you to tell me the internal conversations that you're having about, this is about moving, use of technology. Yeah. And there were big, strong reactions, and you don't have to get it right or anything. And just start talking to me about, what does belonging have to do with it?
I think because, when I was growing up at school, we didn't use computers at all. Computers didn't really come in technology. The use of technology didn't come into the world until I was, in my late 20s. And I live in a profession that does not require it. I'm not required as an actor to know a great deal about technology. I have, different things are required of me. And so I haven't ever really learned technology apart from the very basic things of being able to switch my computer on so we can do this, or use it as a typewriter. And so I've always felt like an outsider. There's a whole load of people who have understood technology and use technology and are really brilliant at it. And I feel outside of that. So I feel like there is a fear of looking stupid because I'm learning something at a very, very, well, I say very, very late age. I'm not that old. I'm in my 50s. So it's a late age to be learning something that actually is really quite complex, because there isn't an instruction book that's an analog instruction book I can read. It's a confusing world to me. So I always feel outside of. Yeah.
So I've heard the strong voice of, I'm an outsider, and then there's another one, I don't want to look stupid.
Yeah.
Those are the sort of phrases that pop out to me that may be core beliefs that are animating this, keeping you like going, oh, I don't belong, I don't do it.
Yeah, I think, both of those. I am an outsider, and I'm going to look stupid. They're both very strong voices. Yeah.
Would you say one of those is key to this red light? Or might there be something we need to go after?
I think the really key one is feeling like an outsider. There are areas in my life where I don't mind looking stupid.
Okay.
I don't mind looking stupid in a rehearsal room. That's what we're there for, to look daft and get down to the nuts and bolts of how we create this story. But being an outsider it's a very strong reaction to this. I feel like I'm outside the community of people who can use technology well.
Okay. So I'm just going to sum this up and tell me if it feels not like we're summing up the coaching session, we're just summing up this part of it.
Yeah.
But what I'm hearing is there's an underlying conversation in you that says, I'm an outsider. And it creates a very strong reaction and a stop signal that stops you moving towards figuring out this technology stuff for your audio, for your studio.
Yeah.
Did I get that right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So you're okay that we play with this, I'm an outsider?
Yes, please do, yeah.
Okay. So this expression, the way I work with core beliefs, if I may call it that, these underlying pithy statements that drive us in some ways,
Mm.
they've been useful.
Mm.
I trust that in some ways, or some way, this expression, I'm an outsider, has been useful to you.
Mm.
It's kept you safe in some way.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
How talk to me about that.
I think well, I know it's made me incredibly self-sufficient. You know, when I have come across something where I didn't feel like I belonged, I have learned to look after myself.
Okay.
That's quite an interesting thing to kind of like strike upon, actually, because I suppose as an artist, as an actor, we are often seen as outsiders, and that's a good thing. Kind of outside the norm of society. And you know, one of the things about, you know, my profession is that I've been in it for 32 years, which is a long time for somebody in the acting profession, you know. And that's because I have an enormous amount of resilience and self-sufficiency. So I am very self-sufficient, and I can exist outside of a group. You know, I can be the person who's unemployed when everybody else is working.
Yeah.
You know, I know how to take care of myself. So yeah, that's actually like an incredibly enlightening thing to recognize.
Yeah. So
yeah. I'm very self-sufficient, you know, and as an outsider, you have to learn to be.
Yeah. So there's a value there. Often with these core beliefs that might not be serving us in the moment, there's some kind of value or something special. Yeah. So self-sufficient, it's helped you be self-sufficient. Bravo. Yeah.
That's great. Yeah. It's quite amazing to put it into that context, actually, to just turn it around like that and recognize the value of it.
Yeah.
It's quite liberating.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
Excellent. Good. So it may be keeping you stuck now, but there are good reasons that you have it.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
And you might choose to set it aside at the moment or reframe it in some way so that you can change this red light around belonging and moving forward with technology.
Yeah.
So when you put all that together, what would you like to do with this I'm an outsider around technology?
The thing that just comes into my mind straight away is that it just doesn't matter. You know, if I'm comfortable being an outsider, then it doesn't matter if I dip my toe in. You know, I don't have anything to lose, I guess.
Okay.
You know, because if I have to retract back out of the group of people who are brilliant at technology, it doesn't really matter because I've survived this long. You know, my life is just fine as it is. So I think that's the thing that comes to mind. Actually, then it makes it a bit more fun. The kind of pursuit of learning technology is just for me. It's just fun. It's just for me. It doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter if I don't do it very well or if I make a fool of myself. You know, because I have this ability to survive well as an outsider. I think that's the reframing that immediately comes to mind. You know.
Okay. So what would be the thing? So I heard it doesn't matter. I don't have anything to lose. There could be something fun, something about learning. What if we were to create a mantra that you would repeat to yourself every time you start moving towards, you know, thinking about technology and you feel some of that tightness and stuff, you can swap out your I don't belong with a mantra.
Yeah.
An empowering mantra. What out of what you just said, there must be something
along the lines of it doesn't matter, it's just a journey.
Okay.
Something along those lines.
It doesn't matter, it's just a journey.
Yeah. Learning is a journey.
Okay. Good. Yeah. Let's try it out. So learning is a journey. Is that that was the last thing you said. Do we want to try that? Or it doesn't matter, it's just a journey. Doesn't matter, learning is a journey.
It doesn't matter, learning is a journey.
It doesn't matter, learning is a journey. Okay. Yeah. I am writing it down so I get it right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So we're going to rewind a little bit back to where we started, where we were talking, you know, really getting clear about use of technology. And do you remember all this stuff that was going on in your body? Can you actually recall there was this thumb thing, and yeah, and there was some fluttering, and
yeah. So it's really interesting that I'm going to bring my hands up now. My right hand has just been, I've just noticed it's kind of holding, it's cradling my left hand.
Okay.
Before I was kind of like pummeling into my left hand like this, and now it's cradling it. I just noticed that.
Nice. That sounds, it feels gentle when I hear you talk about it.
Yeah, it feels gentle. It's like I'm being gentle with myself as opposed to giving myself such a hard time. That's quite amazing, actually. I hadn't noticed that at all until you brought my attention to it. Yeah.
Nice. And I just wanted you to say, as you think about, like, just test this out a little bit. So great, your body's relaxing. And as you think of use of technology, and say to yourself, it doesn't matter, learning is a journey.
Yeah.
What happens to you as you say, it doesn't matter, learning is a journey?
The thing that has immediately popped into my mind is that I feel at the beginning of this journey of learning about technology, I feel like a child.
Okay.
In the sense that it's exciting.
Okay.
You know, it's really exciting to watch children learn stuff. We get very excited by that. And there has been this part of me constantly saying, you should know this by now. You should be better at this. You should have got this a long time ago.
Okay.
You know, and now I just feel like, well, how exciting. I feel like a kid. I can play around with a new toy. And I can watch myself learning in the way that we adults watch young kids learning. With one, you know.
There's a whole joy in that, isn't there?
Yeah, that's the thing that just popped into my head, that image.
Great. So moving forward, if you want to keep practicing this, it doesn't matter, learning is a journey, and to keep picturing it like you're a child and it's a toy and there's joy there, and what would you practice, and how can you remind yourself? Because you need to, anybody who does this, you know, we need to, it's like we're brainwashing ourselves.
Yeah.
You know, repeating that statement over and over again, reminding ourselves, because this brain is kind of remembering, you know, like, oh, technology, you know, it's learning, I'm a child, it's fun.
Yeah. I know straight away. I'm looking into the camera, which is at the top of my computer, and there's the strip on the top of the computer on which I could put this.
Okay.
One side of the camera, you know, it doesn't matter. On the other side, learning is a journey. And I can see that straight away when I look at the screen. So that's what I'm going to do.
Okay.
This is fun because this morning I was playing around with the software for recording voiceovers, and I got really stuck at one point. I just couldn't understand how to do something, and I felt like my whole brain was melting, you know. And I had to run away and have a cup of tea, and you know, I kind of feel sorry for myself. But if I'm looking at this and I constantly look up at that, saying it doesn't matter, learning is a journey, above my screen, then I've just got a reminder. There's my structure to remind me that if it goes wrong, it really doesn't matter.
Yeah, great.
Yeah.
So will you do that?
Yeah, absolutely, I will. I will do that as soon as this seminar is over.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great. Well, Silas, let's end there. I know there's going to be some questions from our audience. Is there anything else you want to say to complete this coaching?
I've noticed myself feeling very moved, actually. I feel very touched. So I actually want to say thank you for some great coaching that's really shifted something in me. I'm grateful to you. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you very much for allowing us to witness your journey and your internal workings. And it's very generous of you. Thank you.
Absolutely, my pleasure. Thank you, Laurie.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's welcome Beth back. There she is. Over to you.
Hello. Wow. I don't want to interrupt. Honestly, that was absolutely beautiful. And you're not the only one that has been moved, Silas. We've had so many comments from people saying that they've been moved to tears and just so touched by the demonstration. Amy said, so excited to witness Silas's transformation. It brings tears to my eyes. I'm actually welling up.
Yeah.
Sorry. Rebecca says, this is making me well up. I'm so rooting for Silas. He has a great voice and he's totally going to break through with this.
Yeah.
So just a couple of, honestly, hundreds of comments. Thank you so much. So just before, and tons of questions as well, and just before we get to them, I'm just going to launch a poll. And yeah, we want to emphasize that these live coaching demonstrations have been brought into the pre-summit based on feedback from our coaching community. So while Laurie and Silas are answering some questions, please take some time to give us your feedback via the poll that we're just launching now. And we'll go into some questions because we have so many, and then I will definitely read out some more comments as well once I've composed myself a little bit. Sorry about that. Okay, so a question from Carol asks, what if the client believes they are all red lights?
So here's the premise. Yeah, sorry, we lost you there for a second, but if they're all red lights, they're probably not stuck. If they're all red lights or all green lights, it's not likely that they're moving towards this thing. If they're all red, they'll be like, who cares? Not something I'm interested in. Of course, if they've been told that they need to do this and do something, you know, at work, you must do this or else, you know, and it's all red, then you need to work through them one at a time. And it's, you know, it's great information for a client to know, no wonder I really don't want to do this thing. But generally, if it's, you know, if it's somebody's desire, they're not likely to be wanting this thing that's all red.
Got it. Can you hear me okay? I know I think it's when everybody does the poll at once, Zoom has a little bit of a wobble.
Yeah.
Because we have so many on this session as well. So can you hear me okay?
Yep.
Okay, great. So another question from Arona says, do you always focus on red lights or do you sometimes help the client enhance the green lights?
Sure, you can get curious about any of them. You can enhance green lights, and also you can change green lights. If somebody wants to know, why is it that I want to keep doing this thing? Like I'm inspired to do this. Maybe it's not good for them and they want to figure out what is it that keeps pushing me in that direction. And you can even change it, but any of them are great places to just get curious and self-aware about what are my drivers, what's pushing me that way and what's pulling me back.
Yeah,
definitely both directions.
And we had a couple of questions about the fairness element in the tool. So Dan says, this was awesome and fascinating. I understand each of the elements except for fairness. Can you go into that one a little bit more? And we actually had a couple of people asking kind of for a little bit more about what the fairness element was.
Yeah. So if somebody like, let's say in this example, like Silas, if you said, I've been a stage actor all my life, and I know tons of people who are voice actors, and it's their world, and it actually doesn't feel fair to me that I'm entering their world. That could be a red light on fairness, for example. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I've had other people who would say, I'm going for a job and I actually don't believe it's mine to be had. I'm going to do it anyway, but there's this thing about fairness. It actually feels like it belongs to this person who's been on that career path that whole time. And of course, these are voices. They're not truth necessarily.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you can go in and dig that out. I hope that's helpful to understand fairness.
Yeah, definitely. Silas, did you want to add anything to that?
I think it just to say that, is it not about what it means to the client, what fairness specifically means to the client?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So that's going to be different for different people.
Sure.
Yeah. Great, thank you. So Hyacinth asks, what is the origin of this framework, and is there a theory that it's connected to?
Be safe and certain that model is a model I've been working with for several years. Each of the elements have been researched by neuroscientists as being things that we are sensitive to, that we have our internal emotional brain creates rewards and threats, different signals. The rewards are dopamine and the threats are adrenaline and cortisol. And so we've used that model in leadership development. I'll be using it in the team coaching that we'll be doing next year, the WBECS session for teams. And yeah, and in the session I did on Monday, I talked about the red light, green light, where it came out of a mouse experiment. So it's just indicators, you know, instead of saying threats and rewards, I wanted to turn it into something that we're really familiar with, is signals like red light, green light.
Yeah. And probably time for one more question. Alexandra asks, what could be a possible signal that this tool could be used to help a coachee? Are there any signs that we should be on the lookout for?
Yeah, well, when somebody, let's say you have a coaching session and the client says, yes, I'm going to do this, do something, and they come back and they didn't do it, they forgot about it, they didn't think, they deprioritized it, 7 other things got in their way, and you reset the priority, help them reset that, and they keep doing that over and over and over again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Silas, you also coach, you might know other times when people get in that stuck place of, yes, I think I want this, but I don't know why. Some people also say, oh, it doesn't feel right.
Yes. I think what's really interesting about this model actually is the mixed messages. That there's, you know, possible red lights and green lights.
Yeah.
You know, that people often get stuck because there are mixed messages around things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And a lot of them they're not aware of, either reds or greens. They're not aware. There's like these unconscious drivers that are going, yeah, no, yeah, no. And,
yeah.
And it all just gets summed up in the brain and body, and people just are like, it sounds like a great idea, but not going.
Yeah.
So another question for Silas, actually, then. This came from Jane, and Jane asks Silas, what about this process felt most meaningful for you? Can you comment on that?
Yes, I would say actually that Laurie was very careful not to use the word saboteur voice. You know, she was very careful not to recognize that the conversation in my head around this is not necessarily sabotaging me, but has actually at some point helped me and perhaps still does. And that turnaround, you know, the turnaround for me of recognizing that feeling like an outsider is not such a bad thing, doesn't have to be. And that there's, you know, that's a big revelation for me actually, because it immediately takes the sting out of it.
Yeah.
It immediately makes that conversation into something that can be and has been friendly. So then to take that on immediately shifted things for me. That was the most powerful part of the session for me.
Amazing. And did you kind of feel that shift, Laurie?
Yes. And yes, I could see it on Silas's face, and I think you said something about it, and there was like a leaning back, and it often does. I have to say, it often does. Go, oh, it's not a bad thing, because as soon as we say, oh, this is getting in my way, the brain goes, oh, then we have to change it, and oh, that means it's bad, and there's something bad or wrong, and we immediately get defensive. And so I've experienced that a lot, when people can relax a little bit. Oh, that's not a bad thing. I can be okay with myself.
And also getting really clear at the top about what the subject is. The subject was not fear of technology, it was use of technology. And taking that out of the subject line diffuses everything.
Yeah, definitely.
Right, it was like this identity, fear of technology, and then we could let that go. Yeah, it's important to frame that.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna sneak one more question in, because we technically still have 1 more minute, and we still have over 2,000 people on the call. So obviously everybody is absolutely loving the content and the Q&A. So final question, Manisha asks, is a coaching session with more time, or perhaps over more than one session, would you explore all of the lights?
It's certainly, I mean, it's up to the clients, but it would certainly be possible. And these red lights and green lights might change. And I am hoping that people use this model over time. I mean, it's great, you know, Silas is walking away with something, but transformation really happens as we embed these new thoughts over time, and the other red lights might come up. So absolutely, over time, explore the other lights. And if they want to explore them all, great.
Got it. Thank you. Okay, we'll end there. So thank you both so much for doing this live demonstration. I know it takes so much courage and vulnerability, and it is just hugely, hugely appreciated.
Well,
so many questions that we didn't get to. So don't worry though, you can head over to our Facebook post. We encourage you to do that, and you can do this by commenting on the link that we're going to place in the chat box for you now. So that's going to go in there for you, or also in the implementation mastery sessions, which will be starting in 15 minutes. We've actually made some more seats available for today's session, so that you can reflect on Laurie's demonstration, and you can register for those sessions using the link that we're putting in the chat box for you now. And as I say, so many incredible comments. Laurie, can you talk a little bit about what you're going to be covering in the full summit?
Yes, in the full
I know
summit,
you briefly mentioned it, but yeah.
I did, yeah. So full summit is about neuroscience in teams and how you use neuroscience with team coaching. And that it's called Rewire Your Team. And it is using the Be Safe and Certain model in a slightly different way.
Yeah.
Those drivers, what we're calling red light, green light here, you know, the threats and the reward responses in our bodies create different reactions in us, and it gets in our way in relationships. So if I feel like I'm afraid I'm going to be rejected, for example, I might not give my colleagues feedback.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and there's all these different fears that go on that drive us and drive our relationships with each other, and it can completely disintegrate a team. But if people recognize it and they talk about it and they can reorient it and use more green light energy, more dopamine, more you know, reward energy on those things, and consciously do that together and create agreements like that, they can really soar together. So that's what's going to happen on that session, and I'll have a small team to work with.
Amazing. And yeah, we've never had a live team coaching demonstration at WBECS before in our whole 10 years, so it's going to be a really special one. And as I mentioned, we'll be featuring so many more live coaching demonstrations, as well as Laurie's team coaching demonstration in the full summit. So if you're newer to coaching, or you are, you know, completely experienced, then these demonstrations are a really fantastic way for you to gain new perspectives on how to help your clients get even better results. And you can view the entire schedule and the package for the full summit at wbecs.com/summit. So thank you so much, everyone. We know you have so many demands. I'm going to say bye to everybody, and a special goodbye to Laurie and Silas. Thank you both so much. It's been
it was my pleasure. It was fun.
Such a heartwarming experience for everyone. I hope you enjoyed it as well.
Absolutely.
Absolutely, yeah. Thank you very much. Thank you.
I'm going to stay. Yeah, I'm going to stay and answer any questions for anyone. So about the full summit. So Laurie and Silas, you are welcome to leave now. Just click the little red button, and have a wonderful evening and afternoon.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you much indeed.
And
Bye-bye.
goodbye to everybody else. Have an absolutely wonderful weekend. And as I say, I'm going to stay on for a few extra minutes to see if anybody has any questions about the full summit. And oh my goodness, there are so many questions and comments in the Q&A box. Let me see if I can get to any of them. Brilliant session. Thank you, Paula. Incredible session. It really was, wasn't it? It was so special to witness. And so much love for Silas as well. So many people, you know, saying that they would buy his audiobook, and just such a kind of supportive group. So I'm not seeing any questions at the moment about the full summit. Does anybody have a general question from Debjani? I see the session is being recorded. Is the recording going to be available? Yeah, so the recordings for every session are going to be available the following Monday. So if you come into your registration page, and we'll drop this link in the chat box for you now. If you come into the registration page on Monday, you go to the calendar where all of the sessions are listed, and you'll see there'll be just a green play button next to this session. It'll be available from Monday, 8 a.m. Eastern, until Wednesday at 8 a.m. Eastern. It's available for 48 hours. So if you do want to watch that recording again, you have 48 hours from Monday, 8 a.m. Eastern. if you purchase a full summit membership, either the enhanced membership or the pro coach membership, then you can you get access to the recordings and you can download the material as well. So you'll have a lifetime access if you purchase a membership. Victoria says, full summit question, what days are live sessions and what time? So Victoria, the full summit is a little bit different to the pre-summit in terms of the layout. We have 58 sessions in total during the full summit. The full summit sessions are 90 minutes, so they're a much deeper dive into the content. As you'll know, the pre-summit are the 45-minute sessions. Full summit is 90 minutes. And in terms of the schedule, we spread it out over 9 months, and we have 2 sessions each week every Thursday. Now, this basically starts in September, from September the 3rd. However, we do have 3 sessions over summer, just to kind of trickle in over summer, and just to kind of, maintain that, part of the community and that education over summer. So we actually have 1 session in July 16th, that's with Patrick Lencioni. So he's kicking off the full summit then. Then we have 2 sessions in August on the 6th and the 13th. They are with Whitney Johnson and Marshall Goldsmith. And then we start with the normal schedule with 2 sessions a week every Thursday from September 3rd. The sessions every Thursday are 9 a.m. and 5 p.m. Eastern. But obviously, if you are a full summit member, then you do get access to all of the recordings, so you can catch up whenever you like. Kevin's asking, can we get CCE credit by watching recordings, or do we have to attend live? To get, you can still get CCEs. However, if you watch the recording, it's an RD, and if you watch it live, it's a CC or a CE. So Marcus is asking, how many CCEUs do you get per session? We actually have a breakdown of what CCEUs are given for each session. We'll put that into the chat box for you now, Marcus. So Cecil or Elsie, could you please drop in the CCEU breakdown? There we go. It's just been added in there. So the most recent link in the chat box at the moment is the CCEU breakdown. You can also see the kind of the full summit schedule in there as well. Okay, any more questions? How can I invite someone to the pre-summit, please? That's from Mary. Mary, all you need to do is if you contact support@wbecs.com and just let them know that you'd like to invite someone, they'll send you a message that you can pass on to people. So save you putting any work in writing a message. Still so much love coming in for Silas. I can't wait to share all of these comments with him. I'm sure he'll be very touched. Okay, I'm not seeing any more questions come in at the moment, and I am very conscious of everybody's time. If you do have any questions that I haven't been able to answer today, I'm sorry about that, but we really encourage you to contact our incredible support team. You can reach them at support@wbecs.com. And they'll be able to help you with any questions that you have. So I'm going to wrap this up. I hope you all have a wonderful weekend. Next week is the final week of our WBECS Pre-summit 2020. We have sessions on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday is our final day. So we really hope you can come and join us as many sessions as possible next week and really get the most out of the pre-summit. And with that, I'm gonna say goodbye to everyone. Thank you so much for joining, and have a lovely weekend. Bye bye.